Well, hello again, everybody. We have reached the finale. It is week number 8 million for us here at the Inside Blitz Super Bowl version 2026. I'm here. Kiev is back. Welcome, sir. Good to see you.
Great to see you, Ted. Thanks for inviting me back. What a
Absolutely.
massive week. Ends the football season officially.
Yeah.
It's February 6th. Next year, just to let you know, and I know I'm not looking ahead to next year, but the Super Bowl will be on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And
Here in LA.
In the college, in LA. The
Yep.
college national championship will be all the way to January 25th.
Wow. Okay.
That is
Why is that? What's the schedule?
Just the way it's just the way like Labor Day falls. That's how it
Okay,
goes.
gotcha.
It goes the way Labor Day falls.
I thought maybe it was the way the moon and the sun and all that kind of stuff.
It's not that technical.
Okay. And Chris will hopefully be joining us shortly. In the meantime, there's Ron up in the right-hand corner, and we're getting late word on him, hopefully shortly, to find out how he's doing. He should be home and improving on his situation. And of course, we all wish him well. And please, if you get a chance at Ron A Sports, send him a good wishes note, and we'll have to have him back on the show ASAP, or any of my other shows, by the way. In the meantime, it is Super Bowl 60 time. 60 years ago, we had one in LA at the Coliseum. It was the Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs. I was supposed to be at that game. My dad said, you know what, this is going to be a blowout. We had tickets, and he never gave me the tickets. Oh, you know what those are worth right now, Kiev? Just like a full real ticket.
Like a stub, you mean?
Yeah, but I mean an actual ticket. If we didn't, an unused one.
I mean, what's funny is I don't know the difference between an unused one and a used stub.
Well, they didn't rip them up. You know, they used to have to rip them, and then they would give you the whatever the stub left over, right? So anyway, I don't have it, so it doesn't matter. All right, let's talk about the Super Bowl and the Seahawks, the Patriots. I've got a feeling here it's going to be a pretty decent game, but I also believe that Seattle is going to win out in the long run because they're just the better team. I want to get your thoughts on, as far as the schedule is concerned, and how that affects your thinking when it came to the Patriots and just the most brutal schedule in the history of a team going to the Super Bowl.
The most brutal for the other teams, I guess. This was, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Of course, things fall your way sometimes. Denver without the quarterback, but even with the quarterback, it was a snowy game. Let's pretend that Bo Nix was playing. It still would have been a favorable situation for the Patriots. Just the gods have been shining down on this team, and Robert Kraft, I don't know. Maybe he sold his soul to the devil, and in about 20 years we'll find that out. But
yeah, right.
It's a situation where if you look back and you kind of, this is always the slap myself in the face moment when you're kind of like, well, why would I have not saw the easiest schedule with a Mike Vrabel coming on in with a great, Drake May looked good last year. He looked like he was up and coming. And how easy that schedule, how plausible it was for the Patriots to actually make the Super Bowl. And then on the other side of things, you have a fantastic Seattle defense with Sam Darnold that won 14 games last year. 14 games. It's like you look at that situation, you're like, with a good coach, you just slap yourself in the face. But for me, I just didn't. The Patriots, I knew they'd be better. I knew they were going to probably make the playoffs. I just didn't know how easy it was going to be for them. And with Sam Darnold, I just did not know how good Mike McDonald was. I knew he was good. I didn't know he was great. And so far, he's been great.
Yeah, I think that, look, Vrabel has done an unbelievable job. But look at the schedule. This is what Chris sent me last week before they made it. This is just incredible. Look at all the fired coaches that they faced. It's unbelievable.
Well, the Bengals was without Burrow still. The
Bengals
was with the backup. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Yes.
I like how you just put NFC South in there. That's fun.
That
Yeah,
doesn't count. That's like playing a AAA team in baseball.
yeah. NFC South. It is literally the easiest road I've ever seen to a Super Bowl, especially with the Chargers being so banged up
Yep.
in that wild card weekend in Denver without their quarterback. So,
Yep.
I will say we can't completely overlook the Patriots because when you still have a good coach, even though your schedule is easy, it's not necessarily your fault. They've taken care of business.
Absolutely.
They did beat Buffalo once. They choked the game away. It was up 21-0
Yeah.
or something like that, 24-3.
Right. The question is how good is Buffalo too?
Yeah, and Buffalo was suspect. They
exactly.
Without receivers. This was not the best Buffalo team over the past 3 years for sure.
Yeah.
But I still give them credit, but I still, I wish I could be like the contrarian guy who I always like to be and say the Patriots really have a shot here. The only way they have a shot is if Sam Darnold turns into a pumpkin. And
if Sam Darnold turns into Sam Darnold?
Yeah. Sam Darnold turns into after drafted from UFC Sam Darnold, and now Sam Darnold's playing with a chip in his shoulder, and I'm really happy for him. I think that's great for him. I think that just looking at the story behind it is pretty cool.
Yeah, I think Sam Darnold is a great example. We talked a little bit about this last week with our other guest host and Ron Pitts. That Sam, when coming out of USC, he looked like he was ready for the NFL, but at the same time, he got screwed by this bad OC, another bad OC, another one, bad head coaches, and then you get a 21-year-old kid's head spinning all over the place, and his confidence is in the toilet. And it's not an excuse; it's a reality, and especially in pro football. Look at Drake May was very fortunate to be in the situation he was in. He was drafted by a team that gave him an opportunity to play, and he's had a good OC since the beginning. Now he also has led the league in fumbles this year, right? He's made his share of mistakes in the playoffs so far, so he's not playing the cleanest of any quarterback in Super Bowl history. And Sam Darnold has played mostly clean. As if he stays that way, I don't see Seattle losing. But at the same time, a lot of people are, they're all, okay, when's the old Sam coming back? And it's a scary thought for Seattle fans. But outside of that, he looks like he's past that to me.
I think so. And he does have the experience. He has playoff experience. Drake May doesn't. Those numbers you have up right there, you can throw those away because Sam Darnold would have had a lot more passing yards if his defense stunk. It was just a great defense, a great situation. In the NFC, his gauntlet was a heck of a lot harder than the AFC. I don't even have the Patriots in the top 5 of my power ratings. So, I mean, that just goes to show you now the line at 4.5. We can talk about that. I think it should be 6. I'm not betting.
That's exactly what I said. I told Chris that last week. I texted him as soon as the games were over 2 weeks ago, and I said I make it about 5 or 6.
Yeah, I definitely make it 5.5 to 6, and I've been saying that since the last 2 weeks. I grabbed a soft 3.5 when it was out, just as on Sunday as the final game went, and Seattle beat the Rams, and I just knew that it was going to go higher. Now, there's a situation where a lot of people like the under, which usually favors the dog, and that could happen too. And you can be driving down the field and be up by 4 points, and just take knees at the opponent's 10-yard line instead of score. I mean, that happens in the NFL all the time. And situations, you got to make sure that Vrabel keeps his timeouts. These timeouts are going to be huge. And right now, if I had to bet it, I would take an alt line on Seattle just because of how unprepared a rookie, like semi-rookie second-year quarterback could be in this situation.
Now, would you have a number if it was the Rams and not Seattle in this game?
It would be close to the same.
Okay.
To be honest with you, I think what's funny about this is I do have Seattle a little higher than the Rams in my power ratings based upon their defense.
Well, that's not unusual. That's pretty common.
And I have them 1 and 2 really. And the reason that it would be the same is because the offensive power, I think, of the Rams is just farther. So that's where you could get margin. Yeah. And so, that's the creative way of looking at it. Like, even though Seattle's better, they're fine with winning games by 3 to 6 points. The Rams have a little bit more upside when it comes to a blowout.
I get it. You have thoughts on, we're going to go talk some props because I that's Ron's specialty. And by now, Ron would normally have about 120 of them laid
Yeah, he
out
would.
somewhere. He was unbelievable. Did you guys talk much props over the last years in regards to the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. We've been talking Super Bowl props since the before 2020, before they were popular, when they were start coming out on the Friday before the Super Bowl, right?
Right.
And that's changed quickly, but I love the props. I think it's all about the props. I think the props have value if you look at the right things
Yeah.
to look for when it comes to the props. I think you got to be careful because some of the books, when they don't have a no, and it's always just a yes, like a plus number, but no minus number in these
Right.
situations, it's probably more juice than you expect. I mean, future markets are like that. The true number on some of these teams are always off. The true
Yeah.
number. For give me an example, Arizona's 4-1 to win the NCAA tournament. That's 6 games in a row they got to win. They're 4-1. It's not,
That's
the real
ridiculous.
number's like 6-1, 7-1.
Exactly.
And so you got to watch out for that. Number 2,
Well, if
when
you
you're
love Arizona, you just play them game by game or parlays and stuff, right?
yeah, well, you can do a mechanical parlay too, and just take the money
Okay.
line and keep rolling it over every
Got
single
it.
game.
Got
That's
Oh, you froze on us a little bit. If you hear me. So Kiev is frozen, sort of like half our country, but he's in Arizona, so there's no excuse for that.
you might
by
not
the
even
way-
get much more than 4-1. But the truth is that
Okay.
if my back,
Yeah, you're back.
all right. So what I was saying is, prepare for all kinds of situations as well.
Yep.
Now, the way I look at it too, when you're betting props, Ted,
Yeah.
you have to be prepared for an under or an over, right?
Okay.
Like if your props are all on overs, on over receiving, over rushing, stuff like that, what happens if it's a 13-3 Super Bowl game like we saw in 2019? What's going to happen is the books are going to kick ass, and you're going to be left not only with a dead Super Bowl bet, you're going to be left with a whole bunch of dead prop bets that you thought. And so you do things to the under as well, and you do things defensively like sack props. You try to work your portfolio of bets into either situation. One bet I like a lot that's out there in some books is total accepted penalties under 10.5. And it's accepted penalties. It doesn't have to be flagged. So
right.
The good thing about that is I believe the refs in general swallow their whistle in the Super Bowl. And you saw this already.
They tried to.
Yeah, they don't want to make it about them. And
Exactly.
You hope so. And the thing about that is it's been a proven fact that in postseason play in general, you'll see that.
Right.
I believe.
By the way, Chris is here, so let them have to join the conversation. Hello, good morning, sir.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good to have you.
Make sure you guys get your colonoscopies now that the season is ended. Then you won't have to deal with some of the issues I've had this morning.
Oh, I get my colonoscopy every 5 years, baby. I did it last few months back.
Yeah, you missed about 15 minutes.
I'm running out of 5 years, so that's fine. Go ahead. Yeah.
No, like I said, your portfolio props have to prepare for.
Oh, he froze again. Chris, you come on and he freezes.
Well, it's probably because he's running too many graphics in his background. Maybe that's it. But I'll comment because I was listening on some of the stuff that you were asking, Kiev. It seems like if you're a New England backer, that you kind of want the 6. You feel like you're cheated if you're not getting like a 6 on this line.
Yes, exactly. And you're waiting, right? We talked last week. You're going to wait till the end.
Yeah, I have positions on New England plus 10.5, but I've been playing the alt lines. But
okay.
I'm surprised. I think Kiev said he didn't have New England in their top 5. I certainly did, and I certainly show value on the New England side. It just seems like Seattle's just more capable of breaking the game open and you're kind of fearful on that. But New England definitely belongs there. They have the coaching, they have the discipline, they have the right attitude, and I'm not going to be surprised if New England wins the game in the least. It's not going to be a big, giant upset. I forget what the numbers are. I told you last week, isn't it? It's some absurd, like 90% rate of underdogs winning outright lately. So, underdogs have fared very well, and
has it been something like 15 in a row or something?
Pardon?
Has it been like 15 in a row or some? Or is that
I forget. I'm mixing up all the the trends, but there's a 17-1 trend that goes New England's favor, and then there's another shorter trend over the last 10 Super Bowls or so. The dogs winning outright.
Yep.
So there's another trend. Teams traveling west, the opposite end of the country, faring better too.
Oh, that's a true. Well, okay.
But May should be playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think one voter betting Herbert for MVP cost May the MVP vote from I think I saw.
So, really, I didn't see that at all.
Well, Stafford only won by one vote.
Okay, well, you know what? I think that's ridiculous because I think he was the MVP strongly in my mind.
Yeah, it was a much closer voting than I had anticipated. But apparently some guy voted for Herbert for MVP. So
I was going to bring that up to you, Chris, yesterday, how crazy that was when that vote should have went to Stafford. I don't know how May got 23 votes with that pathetic schedule. I have New England at number 7 in my power ratings. And the truth is that it's hard because I have to, now that the season's over for San Francisco, I have to take the injuries off, right? So San Francisco jumps them because of that. Denver, I have to take the injuries off because now they're out of it. With Bo Nix, I believe they're better, So it's kind of like that situation for me. But yeah, I mean, I'm not betting aside. I said 5.5, 6. I think it's in a perfect spot for the books at 4.5, to be honest with you. And I think they're going to make money on it.
Yeah. You guys have thoughts on, it looks like the injury situation is not going to be really much of a factor in this game. This is the latest as of last night before anything was given this morning. So any thoughts on that at all for New England or here's Seattle?
I think it's just going to be a great game that there are so few injuries to be concerned about. Spillane is supposed to be important for the Patriots. We're watching that one. And then the receiver for us, Seattle, he may have dinged up his ankle more than we realize. How much of an effect that will have, is unknown at this point. But other than that, we've got 2 healthy teams.
Yeah, good. It's the way it should be. Well, you get 2 weeks between games. That certainly helps a lot. Okay, let's get into the props, guys. It's specifically Kiev. What your thoughts was? I'm going to pop some things up here on the screen when I find a couple of things here. Okay, first of all, here's a number that fascinates me. 1.76 billion expected to be bet on this game. Only a third of that is coming from Chris's pocket. So,
I'll take the over on that. That number's not close.
Okay.
I've seen figures that are double that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to estimate the strip cards and stuff that people do and all that. That's gambling. And they've always done that even before PASPA was cleared.
Right.
It was a high number.
That
number is way low, though. Like Chris said, that number is very low. I also think that going back to the injuries, these might be the 2 least injured teams of the whole year. Really, I mean, these guys have been extremely.
That does help you get to this point, though, too, right? I mean, that's part of the equation.
Yeah, it's
big time,
it's huge,
big time. And by the way, what Chris said, a team that that they deserve to be here. There, in my opinion. Every team who ever makes the Super Bowl deserves to be there because you won, and that's all that matters. Now, if it was fixed that's another story. But you deserve to be there because you won the damn game. I don't care how you won it. Doesn't matter to me.
Well, that's like arguing, people argue over using the word ignorant. Some people take the word ignorant as an insult, where the reality is if you use the word ignorant, it just means you don't know. So
right.
when we say deserve to be there, of course they deserve to be there because they won. But you know what the true meaning of the word is were they really that good of a team? And I think in this case, both of these teams belong, and that's what's good. They weren't expected to be there. That's for
right.
Sure.
Now look at this thing up here, guys. Is this true? The largest Super Bowl spreads over the last 15 years? You see the 4.5? Is that right? That doesn't seem right to me, but that's why I brought it up because I wanted to ask you guys.
Oh, whoops.
I mean, that's just an off the wall. I'd have to look back. I tend to forget about exact Super Bowl stats and
it
lines.
Just seems pretty low to me. That's all.
I've got all the spreads here.
Okay. But we're talking dogs though, and dogs have just been dominating in that department.
Boy, it is. I didn't realize we've had such a run of close Super Bowls. The Panthers were -5 in 2015.
Okay.
That lost.
Yeah. But anyway, this is the last 15 years.
2008, Pittsburgh was -6.5.
Okay.
The year before that, the Patriots were 12.5.
Okay, but this is the last 15 years. That's going further back.
So not too many big spreads. It's amazing though. If you go before that, you had a run just for shits and giggles. I've got a comment on this.
Okay.
From 85, you had a spread of 10, 9. Then you got 3.5, 7, 12, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 10.5, 18, 13.5, 14, 11.5, 7.5, 7, 3, 14, 3.5, 7, 7. And I just read those right in a row. I wasn't leaving any out.
Amazing.
Amazing run.
Now it's the total opposite.
Yeah.
Incredible. That's a fun stat. Means absolutely nothing in this game. Touchdown. Any thoughts on this one, guys? Anytime TDs.
So they're fun bets.
Yep.
The numbers are usually wrong on them and favor the books. There's no on these. Now, if anytime touchdowns a little bit close, but I'm guilty of playing a lot of these because it's fun. And if you have a game flow in your mind, then you can justify some of it, right? Because my game flow is that Vrabel's going to stop the run and make Sam Darnold beat him, which is what he should do.
Yeah.
Because Walker's just a massive chunk, and I know they don't have Charbonnet, but they don't need to necessarily. I think they're gonna both defenses are gonna stack the box, right? So I don't think I mean Walker will probably score first, right? But I like some long shots. I think it's fair with how good Jackson Smith-Njigba has been, to look at him at a little bit at plus 550. But I mean, the long shots that you take for fun, not necessarily, like I said, a serious better would necessarily do, is like Rashid Shaheed. He gets open a lot, 19-1. You have Drake May at 17-1, and these are first touchdowns, right? I even got Jake.
This is anytime we're looking at, but
and I got Jake Bobo 80-1. I actually don't like any of those anytime touchdown numbers, to be honest with you.
I don't blame you. I mean, there's zero value, obviously, on anybody. Even the longest shot is awful.
Mm-hmm.
So no doubt about that. When you talk about, by the way, I like Jake Bobo in this game to score a touchdown. I don't know if he's going to be the first one, but I got a good feel for how he's going to be used in this game.
Well, if the Patriots are smart, they pay extra attention to JSN, who just torched the Rams and has been torching everybody.
Yeah, is
and
that good?
Maybe you put a safety on top of him, but that opens up the other guys to maybe sneak in the end zone, right?
Yeah. Your thoughts on any of these, Chris? These TD props?
No, well, I just found a list of props that were sent to me. I traditionally stay away from the props myself because
I know that
when you've got these 2-week windows and you start getting on those, all of a sudden it becomes, contagious. You start, the time gets on your hand and you start adding stuff, or you start thinking, you really go really too deep potentially. And Kip touched on it also earlier, where you don't want to be focused all in one direction, because you can get, murdered. You want to have if you're going to get involved in the props, get a cross section that isn't too dependent on a particular narrative. That can hurt you. You want to follow a narrative, but you don't want to get over dependent on a narrative.
Right.
I think is what Kiev has basically been saying with some of his comments.
And Kiev, I was wondering if you ever got involved, like Ron. One of his favorite ones was national anthem time. Do you get caught up in that stuff? I think it's 2 minutes on this one.
It's funny. Ian Rappaport had a tweet out. He was covering, they were practicing it, and they almost went through the whole thing. I was like, I was tagging some people. I'm like, hey, listen, time. The problem is you don't know how long they're going to bring out that brave part. The
right,
very
exactly.
last word. You don't know how long. 4.5 seconds is the total on that. I mean, I've seen people go outside the stadium and hit their timer on each of these. And to be honest with you, the limits are so small in those, it's not going to really be something that Chris bets. I mean, for fun, I would, from what I heard, the under's been a little bit popular. You can maybe do that in the brave 4.5 seconds on the over and try to middle it. Right. I'm not one to bet that, or the coin toss. I would only bet the coin toss if I got plus 100 or even better. I actually don't even like plus 100 out. A book should put out promos putting plus 110 on both sides for people to, bet on their books. That's what I think they should do, because it's a freaking coin toss.
But where you can make some headway on that, believe it or not, is it depends on where you're betting and what your comp situation is. Because if you're going to get points betting, of course you're going to wash props out. You'll wash the national anthem out, or some way somehow. So just other considerations to think about when you can. Bet one against the other somehow.
You guys get caught up in the first team to score kinds of prop plays?
No, because we don't know who's winning the coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss, I would pick the other team. Yes. Now, that's just so perfectly set in this situation, really.
Do you find there's value, though, on specific props over others? Because I know Ron and I, in the earliest days, literally, of props at all in the Super Bowl, our cross sports stuff were just unbelievable value. But they've cleaned that up big time, unfortunately.
Any two numbers with value is parlayable, right?
Right.
If it doesn't matter what you're doing. If Scheffler's off in the Masters and he should be 2-1 and not 8-1, there's value there, right?
Right.
Sorry, if he is 2-1, there's no value. If he is 8-1, maybe there is. So, there's. I mean, like I said, the book's screwed up. So let me give you an example. I found a very stupid thing that FanDuel did, and I bet it.
Okay.
Jackson Smith in the Jigba for MVP is 5.5 to 1. He's like the second, or he's like third favorite after the quarterback. Right. Yep. Now, how many yards do you think he needs, and how many touchdowns, Ted, do you think he needs to make MVP?
Probably 3 TDs. But the old story, that means the quarterback threw 3.
Correct. But the prop is he gets 100 yards, which is over under is 93.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, at least 100 yards, at least
100 yards and 2 touchdowns, and they moved it to 30 to 1.
What?
And, on FanDuel. It's there right now. I look at it, I'm like, he needs that anyway to make MVP.
Yeah, exactly.
And so they do make mistakes. That is ridiculous that they did that. But I had to put
that is
on
brutal.
that. And that's what you kind of look for, is some of that stuff. Right after the Denver game ended, they had Kayshon Boutte at only 27.5 receiving yards because they factored in that snowy Denver game. That was wrong. I went over on Kayshon Boutte. And the reason I have this is because I got it immediately. You know.
Yeah.
So
You got it. You got it early as possible.
Yeah, basically got it early, and that's.
Have you looked to see how that's changed at all? Because that's always fun to say. This one, I love getting in early on that baby.
Yeah, and before Chris goes, I want to tell you one more that I love every year. It's this first score field goal: Seattle plus 330, New England plus 370, blended odds plus 175 ish, right? Ish depends upon probabilities, but it's around there. That number's wrong anyway, because the Super Bowl, you're more timid when you get to the red zone. You're not as aggressive. Right. You don't want to throw an interception. There's also all the talk about how Denver should have kicked the field goal this week. First goal field goal has been a very popular one I've been doing over the past 8 years minimum, and it hits more often than not. And that number is definitely wrong in most cases.
Yeah, by the way, here's talk about getting early stuff in. I saw this on Vegas Insider. I thought it was a little interesting there. And I like the fact that Seattle enters on a dominant run. Yeah, I mean, how many people are talking about that they've won 9 straight games? I mean,
well, what's New England done?
No, but I mean, against good teams.
They're all good teams.
Really? Okay. Like the Jets, they're a good team.
You know, the
all those fired coaches.
Yeah. But the different, it's not like you're playing Kent State.
No, I know. Look, that's
the variance is not as big as people think.
Yeah, I mean the spreads in these games were 6, 9. It's not like some 3.5. It's not like these are astronomical Duke versus Cal Poly. I mean this is the NFL, and so you got to give them credit for what they did, no matter what. My numbers on their schedule is just so whack that I'd have to literally adjust my algorithm differently. I'm not going to touch with it. So, I mean, the truth is my algorithm does say show value on New England. My power ratings show no value whatsoever, but I'm just not involved in the side.
Yeah, I think people with power ratings and such are favoring Seattle. I think people that are running numbers are going to like New England, and it's going to be interesting to see because we have 85% of the action still to be bet. The only reports that I've heard on the betting thus far is very lackluster. So it does not look like it's going to be a heavily bet Super Bowl. But what's intriguing about the game is that it's going to be an interesting game to watch. I think a lot of people are interested to watch the game since there's no halftime show that people are interested in. But as far as the props go, you asked where the value is. The value is going to be whatever costs you a lot. Look at the props that you are laying the prices on, and that's where you're going to find the value because people don't like to lay prices. People like to take prices. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for alternate lines. I'm looking for props that you have to. They're asking you to lay a lot,
right?
Because frankly, at some point, everybody's going to take the other side of that and bring those into a value, space.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned earlier that Chris is going to wait as long as he can to see if it's going to go. The line's going to go up at all, right, for a straight play on the dog. But are you guys surprised that the line hasn't moved really much since the beginning?
No.
Okay.
No, what's surprising is the money line. Usually the money lines come down on the dogs because in games like this, the public doesn't want to deal with point spreads. The getting the plus money is very enticing. And you see the dog money start to come down and it gets out of whack.
Right.
So that there's usually more value on betting the favorite on the money line rather than so. But that's not happening in this game. The dog money line has been getting slightly better.
Right.
And the point spread is become a strong 4.5 or 5 in a lot of places. So it's inching up.
Okay.
What it does, I don't know. We haven't seen 85% of the action. It's not going to surprise me to see it touch 6. It's not going to surprise me because I like New England to see it go down. But my best guess is that it probably skirts up a little bit to 5.5 before we start to see, some sort of retraction. I'll be surprised if we see a 6, but it's not impossible.
Kiev, do you have any more trends we can talk about here?
There's only one preseason. I mean, this is for like betting next year, but there was since 2014, there was only one preseason odds worse than 12-1 or better, I would say, to win the Super Bowl. And that's the Eagles of 2017 was 40-1. But, when you're looking at these long shots and stuff, they usually don't hit, to win the Super Bowl. It's usually just certain teams, and right now, Seattle is a massive number. And I guess New England was a pretty good number too. I would guess both for 20-1. So I find that interesting. So this would be maybe the outlier, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What about other trends though, as far as, just coming into the season kind of a thing where you thought, okay, this might happen. Are there any thoughts on numbers that ended up being where we are now?
Well, average punts went from 3.8 per team to 3.5, and that's due to the field position and the more aggressiveness on fourth down.
Okay.
So that's something to think about. I took under 7.5 punts, even though they're two defensive teams. But last year, the number was 6.5, and that still went under. So I found value at 7.5 this year. I'm going the under total punts.
Okay.
I think one of the dynamics of this game that I've heard and I agree with is that you've got two coaches here that are not, Ben Johnson type coaches. They don't take needless risks because they trust their defense. So that could increase the amount of field goals or punts that are done because they may not go for fourth down in situations where other coaches would. And, or they may not want to risk giving up field possession. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic than what you see in regular season football when you have these two types of coaches meeting.
Yeah, what I'm looking at also is the pass rush for Seattle against Drake May, and the fact that I think he's going to be running around as much, if not more than typical in this game. And I wouldn't be shocked. Do we have a number on him, guys, as far as rushing yards in this game?
Drake May, you said?
Yeah.
37.5 is his number.
Okay. I would lean towards the O's on that one.
So I'm leaning towards the under on that one because I believe it went up too high. It was opened 33.5, something like that.
So obviously no value there then.
I don't think so. I think that Seattle is going to be ready for it. And, Drake May, I guess Denver was a pretty good defense, but it was also a very snowy game. I think you got to throw everything out of that Denver game completely. I think 37.5 is too high personally. But, at the end of the fourth quarter and they're losing and he could take off. This is just percentage play, 56. I'm just throwing a number out there. 56% chance he doesn't go over. That's how we make bets.
Right.
Well, with his shoulder situation, they're not going to have design runs for him more than likely. So that's another thing that cuts into that.
I'm not even thinking design runs. I'm just thinking he's going to take off whenever he says, I got to get out of here. That's the way I look at it. But by the way, the turnover factor, we also mentioned the fact that he led the league in fumbles this year. How do you think that might come into play as far as the props are concerned?
Could be Leonard Williams having a huge game. MVP type. Maybe he's 120-1 some books for MVP. I mean, that's a look. I heard someone on my show yesterday kind of think about him a little bit for MVP. And that's really a defensive type situation.
Sure.
When you might get a low scoring game because of a lot of that stuff. Sam Darnold has thrown 20 interceptions this year. It was a lot.
Yeah.
You get a lot of back and forth there. The points won't be scoring. I think that you get. I'm not sure I'm gonna bet the fumble prop, but yeah, I could see it.
Got it. What about Drake May as far as picks are concerned? What's the number on that? Is that one? Is it 1.5 or is it one?
I have to pull that up.
It should be -0.5, isn't it?
It's usually -0.5, and it's usually or 1+, and it's
Right,
usually,
1+.
Yeah,
That's what I
and
mean.
it's usually juiced,
Yeah.
to the over usually, unless you're just like Aaron Rodgers for a while, like he would be juiced to the under because he just never wanted to throw.
Yeah, he didn't take chances.
Yes, exactly. And I'm getting close to it. Here it is. Interceptions. You have May 1+, -130.
Oh, he froze on that. Oh, damn. Okay, I'm assuming that was on the over.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Yeah, I would think so.
Talk about bad timing to freeze your audio. Give me a break on that. Are you looking for anything, waiting for something specifically, Chris?
I'm watching the.
Sorry about that. -132 for both, basically on the over. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay. Really? Is that unusual? About the same for both?
It's a bit high actually, but they're prone. And you have two defenses here, two defensive.
Yeah,
coaches,
absolutely.
So I understand it.
And turnover prone guys. You were saying, Chris, about what you're waiting for.
Oh, I'm watching. I chart the alternate lines daily at like 8 or 9 different places, and I just it's amazing the fluctuations that some places have, and then how other places just don't move any of them. So you try to look for some sort of a patterns and some sort of prediction on that, and
right.
But that's what I'm keeping my eyes on. I don't care as much about. I've got a laundry list of props I'm supposed to bet, and
why supposed to?
Frankly, it's so GD annoying to bet these things. I went into one site and they gave me $82.34. Then I go and I try to bet another prop and it's listed. But when you go in there, it says this prop is not available to bet at this time. And it's like, what? So some of these shops are getting really squirrely on props, where they're only taking one side of a prop in some cases. Or they're taking the prop off the board, and they don't even they're not overtly doing it. It's like they've even gotten one step further. First, they were blocking out the number. Now they've gone one step further, and they're not blocking out the number until you try to bet the number. And then they're only taking one side of the bet.
Right.
Oh, they'll take this side, but they won't take that side. And it's like, I don't have time for this shit. It's so frustrating. And also, as far as account preservation, sometimes I feel I have a responsibility not to take the low hanging prop, value, because they just don't want it so much, and it just dings your account, so to speak.
I get it.
The whole aura of prop betting just nauseates me, frankly.
All right. Anything else stand out to you guys on this game as far as a number, whatever numbers that interest you? And I'm looking also final scores. Do you have a strong feeling on it?
I don't have a strong feeling on any final score. But I mean, all those are baked in if you're predicting the final score. So I always, if I'm going to throw any beer money on something, I'm going to do something that's a little obscure,
Okay.
And that's why I said if I was going to bet anything, it'd be alt lines, because I just believe that May could be injured more than people think. He has been bad in the playoffs, and
Right.
Seattle's just got that great defense. I like any wide receiver, or will a wide receiver or tight end have a rush attempt? -120 to the yes.
Oh, nice.
This is Super Bowl. You're going to see an end around by somebody. You're going to see an end around. And plus, if you pass, they pass to the left, a wide receiver screen. Sometimes those go backwards. And you got it, and they count that as a rush.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good one.
Good call. I like that. Like that a lot. You have a score, Chris, on this game?
I turned into the newspaper 23-20 Seattle.
Okay.
Just because my numbers didn't have New England winning the game, but they had them covering. So I'm like, well, I'm going to go with a New England cover, but Seattle win.
And you're playing the unders anyway, right?
I haven't yet. It looks.
You expecting it to move? Because I thought you were going to get in on that one last week.
Yeah, but I think it's going to see 46 again. So
Okay.
I just don't feel pressured to bet the under.
Got it.
And I don't know. It feels too fashionable to take the under for some reason. It is making me step back from it. It looks pretty easy, but then you look at it, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little bit gun shy on it.
Well,
Maybe.
You look at the turnover props, and they're kind of high, right? For the quarterbacks, you're like, well, I mean, that could spell disaster for an under, or
Absolutely.
for anything really. It could go both ways on that. It could be
that's my concern.
More variance to the over, more variance to the under. Turnovers are weird. You're doing great at your 20-yard, the opponent's 20-yard line. Turn the ball over, they have the whole field to go. It just depends upon where they are. That's unpredictable.
Right.
Now, I don't have a lot more to say. I think my total is 43.4 is what my algorithm spit out. It has Seattle favored by 3 points. So I'm probably right where Chris just guessed it, because that's where my algorithm is. But going back to what I said, I don't trust my algorithm so much because of the strength of schedule. It adjusts for strength of schedule, but it was so obscure this year that I just have no reason to.
Oh, we froze.
I'd love to see if 23 pop up on the first half total. Then I would definitely be enthusiastic about going under.
That was the last question I was going to ask about props. Were first half props? We'll wait for Chris to unfreeze. If Chris,
I got a first half prop for you, Ted.
Yeah, go ahead, Kiev. You froze there for a second.
Minus 115. The second half outscores the first half.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I do like that.
That is good. That's value in any game, almost, isn't it?
Yeah, but even more the Super Bowl. I used to always bet first half under, and once it got to the second, I bet it over. I did that every year, but I didn't this year because I'm not seeing a 23. It's a lower total, so that's the only reason I bet this prop instead of first half under and second half over. I bet this prop instead because it's already laying it out for me anyway.
Right. That's interesting. Anyway, my final score is 31-17 Seattle.
Ooh.
That's wrong.
That's all right. I've been wrong before.
That's wrong even if it happens, Ted.
I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to end up there. I think it's going to be fairly close, and then they're just going to draw out at the end. Sort of like Secretariat. It's just not win by 31 lengths, though.
I think Darnold has the most to gain or lose out of this game.
Legacy, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh,
Did we talk about that last week?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I mean, come on. If he wins the Super Bowl, it's like we don't even remember he was drafted by the Jets. And if he loses, it's like, oh, same old Sam Darnold, so it's whatever, same crap,
Kiev, have you seen most turnovers listed?
By which team?
By team, yeah.
I can look it up real quick because FanDuel's got a good search option.
Okay, good.
And while I'm doing this, I will say that
Seattle's the look you want there.
So while I'm saying this, I also like the under 1.5 shortest touchdown. I always bet that one too.
Okay.
Because there's a PI in the end zone creates that.
Yes, good one.
It just happens more often than people think. They're like, oh my God, 1.5 yards. The public looks at it, it's like that never should happen. No, it happens all the time,
Exactly.
So I'm not seeing a turnover. Sorry.
Well, it is out there. If you find it, Seattle's supposed to be good.
One thing I did complain about is I have a hard time finding a lot of these props. It's more of a pain. Like Chris says, it has become a pain in the ass in a lot of.
Oh, I'm sure it is. It was so much easier 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah, when there were less.
Well, and you've got little variances you have to pay attention to because there's certain props, one place may have a reception prop.
Right.
That if the person doesn't get any receptions, then it's void. It was no action. You know, and other places will action everything no matter what. And that, you know, you've got to pay attention to the exact, you know, yardage amounts because they're different at each place. And whether a bet is a bet or not, you've got to look at the minutia of how each and every bet is graded. And there's always mistakes made or things that people haven't thought of. So just my 2 cents on that.
I think it used to be, they used to make more mistakes, but now it's probably harder to find them, right? Because there's so many damn props that, and then when Ron and I used to talk about it, like, oh, I want to compare a couple of, now to find it to compare, by the time you find it, it's already gone, the value, right? Often. Anyway,
oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
Sure. Yep. Happens all the time.
Exactly. Okay. Any thoughts on next year's Super Bowl odds?
Being the rest of the world like the Bears, right?
Yeah, right.
The Bears are going to be in the same boat as the Lions were playing that first place schedule. And
that's all right. They're going to get way better though, Chris. Way better. That's the important thing, the improvement.
Where are they ever going to find an offensive coordinator? Did they replace theirs yet?
Yeah. Ben Johnson.
Yeah,
our coach is our coordinator. We don't even need one.
He's
a Kyle Shanahan kind of guy.
I love the NFC North rivalry here, boys. Let's get into it.
I think we both feel sorry for each other somehow as a Bears fan and a Lions fan. It's kind of weird.
Every team in our division except Green Bay has suffered so much that we have mutual empathy where we might needle, but we won't dig into each other because.
But at least one of you have had.
We know we're going to get screwed by the end anyway.
But at least one of you has an actual quality Super Bowl memory, though, right?
Well,
I should mention this though. The site that I use is called Sports Odds History, and it's really cool for looking.
Oh, nice.
At various sports, point spreads and history, right. And I don't even know all the things they can do. And it looks like they might have merged with covers in some way. They're part of covers now too. So.
Oh, okay.
But that's a very interesting site to just diddle around in and look at past history. And it's not just the Super Bowl stuff; it's the week by week stuff, and they've added a bunch of sports. So I check it out.
Excellent.
80-1 is the opening kickoff touchdown. Devin Hester. That's my memory. I mean, 2005. Bears 2006. He runs the opening kickoff for a touchdown.
That was in the rain, though, if I remember correctly, right in Miami.
Yeah, maybe. I was cheering. I was cheering so hard, but then I realized the Bears had to still play the rest of the game.
Yeah. Did you turn the TV off and in your mind they won after the opening touchdown?
I was at a big bar and a party, and it was tough.
I think that the biggest earthquake that I remember is the safety in the first play of the game. That just destroyed Super Bowl squares and it destroyed so many people's bets. But the people that had it made a fortune. So
right. Okay, before we wrap this baby up, I got this. This is for Chris because I know his old Lions guy got his MVP yesterday, and I thought well deserved. We talked about it a little before you came on, Chris, but I mean, I don't know how I could give it to anybody else.
I think usually at that age bracket, you're kind of in the Oscars they might give you a little extra prop, just years of service type consideration.
Yeah, he's the oldest in the NFL as far as first time. I assume he's the oldest ever too.
No, I don't think. I don't know, but he deserved it regardless. That was my point. But the nice hit yesterday was the Carson Swellinger for Defensive Rookie of the Year, 28-1, which I had. So.
Nice, excellent. Did you do any of those, Kiev?
Oh, I had 12-1 on Stafford. Chris also had a nice chunk for it, 2.7-1. So Chris was on that as well.
Got it.
But not really. I didn't have much other. I lost a few bets.
I get that. No biggie.
Not everybody in betting shows likes to talk about the bets they lose, but it happens.
Yeah, and congrats to the Hall of Famers as well. These guys were all deserved, of course, and so were several others. I don't like the way they get in, but bottom line is my favorite there is Larry Fitzgerald because he's an unbelievable guy. I had a chance a few times to chat with him after he won the Pro-Am at Pebble Beach, which I'm supposed to be at next week. That's a TBD because of weather, but there's Larry there. He won the tournament, I think it was 6 years ago.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah, great guy. That was a golf at.
Do you get to play in that Pro-Am or?
Do I get to play?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no. Are you serious? No. I played a Pro-Ams on the LPGA tour, but never. Not in a million years.
Did you have to dress up for that or?
No.
Okay.
No, just show up. Anyway, bottom line is good for those guys. Guys, appreciate the time. Kiev, tell everybody about your show and where they can find you.
At the Odds Breakers, we will have an article with some of the free props we're putting out. We obviously have some premium stuff too for membership. So yeah, check us out. And we always have good information. Pythag's coming soon. Pythagorean win totals. So we always think about the NFL when needed.
Excellent. And what happens like now after the show? How does that affect your schedule from the next whatever amount of months?
I jump right into college basketball.
Oh, so, you do? Okay.
I'm already in college basketball, but I just jump harder into it, I guess.
Okay.
It's that's my next love really after football has been college basketball.
Got it.
I probably actually like college basketball better than the NBA or probably better than the NFL even sometimes, but it's my thing. And I do some light baseball. UFC is a weekend thing for me. And I've done well in the UFC this last year. I was profitable last year, and I'm one of the top in the rankings at some of the capping sites. So I'm gonna keep that trucking, man.
Got it. And you, Chris, are you doing heavy NCAA stuff or no?
I'm going to be packing my suitcase and heading to the airport and off to Thailand for a month. I'm looking
great. Old-time hockey for Chris, the way he's always done it in the past, right?
Yeah, I'm going back to there's actually a fair amount of people from Vegas and this industry that are going to be over there at the same time. So it'll be kind of amusing to run into people in a different scenario, so to speak.
Okay, that's the bell. That means Kiev's got to get out of here. I can take a hint. Hey, man, thanks again for joining us. Great show, and good luck this week and moving forward. We'll talk some NCAA hoops down the road.
Thanks for having me on, Ron. Great seeing you, Chris. We'll have to talk about Thailand.
All right, take care. We'll see you, Kiev. And Chris, stick with me here for a couple of minutes. We want to wrap up this show and talk about Ron, and hopefully he's doing – I just got a text from Mrs. M, and she said he's home and he's feeling better, getting stronger every day. So that's a good sign right there.
Oh, Jesus, you're on the A-list. I don't have that latest update, but that's good to hear.
Yeah, I just want everybody to know that. And he's coming along. It's not perfect, but he's getting better every day, and that's all that matters. I was hoping he would be well enough to go down to his place and actually watch the Super Bowl together, but obviously that's not going to happen. Just a little future stuff here. I don't mean bets, just in general. I'm hoping next week I'm going to do a USA Hockey 1980 Miracle on Ice show with one of these guys, Mark Johnson, number 10 there, the best player on the team, and Mike Eruzione, the captain of the team who scored the winning goal against the Russians 100 years ago. It was 46 years ago now. And Mike's heading to Milan in a week, and we're going to try and do a show before he goes. So that should be a ton of fun. And I was part of that whole thing in 1980. There's my credential and all that. I didn't go to the Olympics, but they played. I was at the University of Wisconsin calling games for them that season, and the Olympians played us twice. So I got to call two of the pre-Olympic games. They did 61 pre-Olympic games. Did you know that, Chris, then?
No, that's a lot of games.
They don't do any anymore. None. 61. That's like a full pro schedule. It's insane. But that's the way Herb Brooks wanted it, and it worked. So whatever works. And then also, there's me 1,000 years ago. And also, and Bob Johnson was the coach, and it was just an incredible time. It's as good as it gets. And this show, have you seen or heard of this show at all on Netflix, Chris?
Yeah, I saw that it was coming out, and then I guess it did come out. I haven't had a chance to look at it.
It came out last Friday. I actually watched it Friday. I just wanted to watch it for a couple minutes and then go back to it. I watched the whole hour and 40 minutes. It was sensational. And Miracle, the movie, the original one was a Disney film, and I thought that was excellent. But this is the guys, many of the surviving guys, and most of them are around, but most of the team were in this, and they went back to Lake Placid, and they revisited a lot of stories, and it was just fantastic.
It sounds interesting.
Yeah, so highly recommend that. And Jerry Kramer, the former Green Bay Packer, Chris's favorite team from the 60s, who won the first couple of Super Bowls, he's supposed to join me possibly in about 2 weeks as well. So just a little stuff going on. That's about his book.
Doesn't he have a University of Michigan tie?
Not that I know of. I'll have to look for that. I don't recall, to be honest. Nope. Anyway, Chris, another season. Appreciate it. Season 4. Have a great trip to Thailand. Enjoy the game. And good luck, everybody. Super Bowl 60. Let's get it in the win column. See ya.